The third dimension of the 21st Century Competencies Planning Guide is real-world problem-solving and innovation. Students use problem-solving when they define and develop solutions to problems that are new to them, or complete a task they have not been instructed how to do, or design a complex product that meets a set of requirements. Problem-solving tasks abound in today's workplace. Complex problem-solving tasks might include finding new ways to reach global markets, or redesigning products to take advantage of newly invented materials. But simpler, everyday problem-solving tasks also require a set of skills that have been undervalued in traditional learning activities. The ability to generate and test creative ideas to solve problems within real, not artificial, requirements and constraints is the crux of knowledge work in the 21st century. Developing problem-solving and innovation skills requires that we ask students to complete tasks for which they don't already have a response or solution. In sum, problem-solving and innovation are thinking skills, not procedural skills. Instruction that provides problem-solving opportunities for students requires tasks with a defined challenge for students. These challenges may be defined by the teacher or the student and come in three flavors. Tasks with a defined challenge ask students to develop solutions to problems that are new to them, or complete a task they have not been instructed how to do, or design a complex product that meets a set of requirements. To meet these challenges through problem-solving and innovation requires students to consider some or all of the following elements: investigate the parameters of the problem, develop ideas and alternatives, devise an approach to solving the problem or explore possible procedures that might be appropriate to the situation, design a coherent solution, test the solution and seek feedback, and improve the solution to better satisfy the requirements of the problem through repeated iterations. Teachers should purposely not provide students with sufficient information to complete a task, and they should not specify an entire procedure students should follow to arrive at a solution. Let the students figure it out themselves. Problem-solving and innovation are about finding or deriving the necessary information and developing or selecting appropriate procedures. As we move to the first level of the elevator, the activity's primary purpose is problem-solving. This happens when the activity meets all of the following three criteria. 1. Students are given a defined challenge or define their own challenge. 2. The teacher does not provide students with everything they need to undertake the learning activity. And 3. Students commit substantial effort to create a viable solution to a problem. Key considerations to note are teachers who avoid telling by carefully scaffolding supports to students' thinking processes, permitting students to pursue solutions that the teacher knows will not work, and providing students with access to multiple sources of feedback through the process will be better at helping students develop problem-solving abilities. Consider this no learning activity example compared to this yes example. Small groups of students build tissue paper balloons according to a detailed set of instructions, then launch their balloons as a class. Notice students all create similar balloons and do not undertake a process of solving a problem because they are simply following a predefined set of instructions. Now, let's look at the yes learning activity example. Small groups of students build tissue paper balloons according to a rubric containing general success criteria for the finished balloon. The rubric defines a challenge for students, but does not provide them with a procedure or specific design. Students must commit substantial effort likely through information gathering and trial and error, to create a successful balloon. Pause the video to see more yes-no examples for this competency level in the guide. As we travel up the elevator, we reach level 2. Students are working on a substantial real-world problem. Real-world problems deal with issues that exist outside a classroom environment. Real-world problems must have all of the following characteristics. They are experienced by real people. The problem must actually exist in the real world and affect real people. They have potential solutions that affect a specific audience, other than the teacher. They have specific, explicit contexts rather than general contexts. Specific contexts allow for solutions that could be applied in a specific context. A key consideration in creating solutions to real-world problems is students should use real-world information and data. This could include the student's creation or collection of their own data through an appropriate process, and/or their selection and analysis of others' research. Keep in mind, it is not expected that learning activities that address this dimension will have a global impact. Sometimes the real world is small, depending on the context. Check out this learning activity, and you decide if it is a yes or no example to show evidence of students working on a substantial real-world problem. Students use a bus map of their own town to propose where pedestrian crossings should be added. This is a yes example. As you can see, a problem exists for a specific group of real people in a specific context. Also, students would have access to actual data from their own town's planning and public safety departments. It doesn't solve a global issue, but it is very relevant to a local community. Compare it to this learning example and decide for yourself. Students use a fictional bus map in a textbook to propose where pedestrian crossings should be added. Unfortunately, this is a no example. The problem does not affect real people, and any solution students develop would only apply in a general context, not a specific context of an actual location. Since the students were using a fictional map from a textbook and not from their own community, the problem has no relevance and no specific people involved. Pause the video to see more yes-no examples for this competency level in the guide. Our last stop is at level 3, where the activity requires innovation, the creation of a product, method, or idea new to the student. First, innovation requires that students put their ideas or solutions into practice in the real world, or communicate these ideas and solutions to others with the ability to implement them. For instance, students who design and build a community garden for a local senior center are innovating, whereas students who just design the garden are not. Students who design the garden and present the plans to the senior center leadership are innovating. Second, innovation must benefit others. To benefit others, the learning activity must create a real-world solution that has potential value beyond the requirements learning activity. For example, designing a community garden has no value to others unless the garden is actually considered by others for building. Consider this. When creating learning activities, a broad interpretation should be taken of the requirement of putting solutions into practice in the real world to benefit others. For instance, it also counts as innovation if students submit a written piece to a literature contest, because these contests are not teacher-controlled, and they have real-world audiences who are interested in and may benefit from the students' work. As we give students the opportunity in real-world problem-solving and innovation, Remember that in order to reach the higher level of competencies, the levels below need to all be included. Let's examine the following learning activity to determine if it demonstrates innovation for the students. Students select a website, app, or online game, then create a video, blog entry, or presentation detailing relevant internet safety guidelines of which parents and students should be aware. Students submit their product for a grade. The students are definitely creating something, but students are not communicating their ideas to others. Their only specific audience is the teacher, where the project does not benefit other people. This is a no example. However, in this learning activity, there is a clear reason why this is a yes example. Students select a website, app, or online game, then create a video, blog entry, or presentation detailing relevant internet safety guidelines of which parents and students should be aware. Students present their products at the school's parent night. Do you see it? Students are communicating their products to others with a direct interest in the content. Parents are attending parent night, and students share their ideas to promote internet safety. Pause the video to see more yes-no examples for this competency level in the guide. Our communities are improved by those who innovate to solve problems that exist in the real world. The work of creating solutions, however small, to improve lives is why real-world problem-solving and innovation are important 21st century skills. Increasingly, we see examples of K-12 students who are addressing real-world problems and coming up with solutions with the potential to benefit a real audience. Students with more opportunities to grapple with real-world problems are more likely to be engaged in the work of developing viable solutions. It seems important, therefore, that teachers create learning activities that provide students with the opportunity to solve real-world problems and create products, methods, and ideas that are new to them.